Everybody. Welcome to Pro No Coders Office Hours, episode 235. I'm your host, Cameron, and I am here by myself today, just waiting for some members to join on in. Before we get started, if this is your first time tuning in to An Office Hours, we do this 6 times per week. We invite our members into Zoom, and they can ask us questions about their apps. They can bring us bugs. They can bring us questions, comments, whatever it may be. We can't promise answers, but we do promise you won't suffer alone. We like to think that we get it right most of the time. So we'll go ahead and get started by just sort of like looking at what we were doing yesterday when we didn't have any members. We were just working on one of the applications that I'm building just for fun. So I'm building a Wordle clone just for fun, and I'm trying to get it to where right now it seems like there's an issue where when we actually start, we're supposed to actually then enter or have the option to enter another set of characters, and that's not happening. So see what happens when we actually click the run next button. Say, let's add step by step. So one thing that I want to do is I want to get rid of redundancy here. So this workflow should not be running. So this is going to create a stats record. The stats record is used for stats, not a prom. Okay. So this is when create word submission for user. When the word submission count is less than 6, where the user is the user, the date formatted as this date, and then the hour is less than 6, and the search for word submission where submitted would either equal yes or no. Let's see, is 0. So if it's less than 6 and there's 0, well, this is a bit interesting. We could just say when that the submission count is less than 6. I feel like we could actually remove that and search for word submission count. And then we're searching for another thing. So we actually have a lot of just redundancy here. And then we're saying, or we'll make this word submission if the word submission count is 0, where the count is, where the word submission is the current user. So basically, if it's less than 6, we just need to do if it's less than 6, I'm fairly certain. We do need to stipulate, though, that not submitted isn't empty, but solved isn't empty. And I'll show you why. In our word submissions, so it's always going to be no until we press enter. So we're not looking, we don't care about whether or not this is empty. It'll never be empty. This is either no or yes. But what is going to be empty is the solved here, which solved is only when we actually press the enter button. I love the word of the hours, dudes. So yes, the solved, we want to be looking at the actual count of word submissions where solved is not empty or solved. Yeah. Okay. So we're looking at search for word submissions count is less than 6. And this is just a typical where the user's this, dates this, hours this. So if it's less than 6 and we haven't solved it, basically is what it comes down to. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and refresh this. Let's start this off by so it just created one for us. Look at this redundancy. What exactly is going on down here? So we're saying search for submission count is 0. So if we haven't hit attempt 5 is saying it'll create this. So if we actually get rid of this logic, we'll copy and paste it and then we'll clear. We refresh it. Does it create a new one? So it does seem to create a new one on page refresh. So we might need to do I'm thinking we could do search for word submission count as less than 6, which includes these constraints or these parameters. And then one where it says we're looking for where salt isn't empty. We're looking for a count of 0 where salt isn't empty. And we're also looking, we'll only do this if, and then we might actually want to reference the submit, where submit is no. So if there's one currently, where submit is no. So perhaps we want to do and search for word submission count is 0, where, well, we actually just, we thinking, I actually want to do that where it's not empty. Just refresh it one more time, make sure that that works. So it looks like it's still creating them. Okay. Yep. As I expected. Does it do any more than that though? Or is it going to listen to what we created? So it contains here that the hour isn't equal. Just want to test it by refreshing it again, making sure that it's looking at that. So it does seem to be. So okay. Let's do sweet. Now that's not sweet. So it skipped one. Let's go here and see what's going on. So we have 4. Okay. So we're actually getting an error after creation where we say, right, we're going to submit this ready. Cool. It should create us. Okay. Let's take a look at the step-by-step and see exactly why that's happening. Before we do that, just making sure that workflow was disabled. And we'll type in this is running only when the value number of characters 5 uppercase, and then extract with regex is 0. What it's looking for is spaces or numbers, I believe, and search for word list first items. Extract with regex. We're looking through the word list. We're taking the actual using regex, and we could use a find and replace, but we're taking the value of our input. We're saying if it is greater than or equal to 1. We could just say is 1. Our word list is unique elements only. So this is just a precaution. Perhaps something that could be refined to where it says only is 1. So the state of the enter button clicked. Okay. It hasn't been solved based on these parameters here. Still, nope, hasn't been solved. So what I really want to do is here. So this says create new word submission. So this is the way it should work. We should get a group or Well, this is strange because I'm saying only when I want to run this every time, only when the search for word submission count using these constraints is 6. And so right now it is, because it's 4 is less than 6. And search for word submission count using these constraints is 0, which fortunately it is down here. And search for word submissions where we're looking at this user, date, hour, and whether or not any have been submitted is no, and it says is 0. I just don't know why the only when would be validating here when it's evident that this count of 2 is not 0. It says no here. So what is this? So yeah, we have search word submission count. That is truly a little interesting. So one of the things that I think we could do potentially, it looks like we do have this here. We'll delete that. We don't need that. So we do create a word submission based on whether or not the count is 0. We're looking for attempt is 5 or whether or not anything is going to be unsolved. And we're also looking for, let's see. So let's say, let's go ahead and do this. Let's delete that. So just create us a new one. Perfect. If we do this again, does it create us a new one? No. Okay, cool. So we've already done ready. Let's just do it again. We know the word's dudes, so we'll just go ahead and click enter. And it creates us a new one. So the word is dudes. And it does create us a new one. So now we need to specify here when we're actually creating word submission that we want this to only happen well, we are specifying that. So you can see here on our records, we have 4 records that we actually passed information into. Yes, and then blank. So we're saying if the count is 0, we'll create one. But if the count is 1, okay. That's it though. Here we're saying, and the count is 0, we'll create a new one. Well, solved isn't empty when we create a new one. Let's go ahead and do this again, where we delete these. Not a problem. Cool. Loaded for us. Yeah, there. Submitted, no. Solved, yes. We're going to do a run as next. We're going to click this enter button. So we reset the group submission, clear the value, set focus to input. And it didn't create a new one for us this time. If we do this, Should have 4. Yep. So now we're going to do this. So now it created a second one. And I think one of the reasons why it didn't, previously, is because we were in the step-by-step. And with the way that bubble works, this information is passed very quickly. And in the step-by-step, it sort of slows bubble down, lets bubble think a little bit more. And I think ultimately that's the actual issue here. So we only want it to add a word submission when the count is ultimately less than 6. Let's do this. We got to where it only does it one at a time. And I want to test my hypothesis here. If we run it in a step-by-step, and we click that. Yeah, doesn't look like it's loading now. We do have this where 3 uses it on the first time, 2 uses on the 4th attempt. 2 plus 3 is 5. 5. 5. It looks like Sebastian has joined us. Hey, Sebastian, just working out some bugs on one of the apps that I'm building here. How you doing?
Good, thank you.
Wonderful.
How are you?
Oh, I'm doing all right. I imagine you have joined with the quest to destroy some bugs. What's going on? What did you bring me today?
Yeah, I'm struggling a little bit with logging in and creating a user. It's just a small thing, I guess, but I would be super happy to just review it.
Yeah.
Should I share my screen?
Please do. Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. So we tried let's see. I'm just gonna because let's see where I'm at. So here is where I send an email to invite. We tried this yesterday and with dividing, adding multiple, and that worked fine. But I took it away because it was a little bit too complex for too much risk for the user to mess it up, and I wanted to keep it simple. But now I know it works, and I have a check for it. So let's see. So this is the email that you get, and you get the email address to the user, you get the team, and you get the company.
Okay.
And when I click that, I get into the sign up employee. That is the page. Let's have a look at the users. So where should I take away this user? Delete. Okay. Okay. And do I have this user as a pending user? Yes, I do. And I have a team for this one. So now, when I add this user, it should take away the pending user, but it doesn't. And when it creates the new user, it should. I mean, I have all the info here regarding the team and the company, so it should save those inputs on the new user, but it doesn't. So when I click login, okay, it seems to work. This image, let's see, here on the user, what's,
So is it doing what you want it to?
Seems like it does.
Let's test it with some,
yeah,
fixed it. So we like that. But let's try with a different account and see maybe if we can try to replicate that error that you were running into.
Okay, I go into the manager page and I preview that. So now I'm a part of secure. I don't have a deal, but that's fine. Business unit. So I'll add you. What's your email?
If you'd like, you can do Cameron at pronocoders.com. I'll send that in the Yep, that's right. .com. Yeah, cool. Cool. Let me go ahead and pull that up. Okay, it's loading for me. So now I'm going to be entering in my password.
Yeah.
Okay, just click login. Current company add secure. Team 1.
Okay. So it works. But where are you in the back here? Let's see.
So I'm on the same thing that you had seen here, connecting goals and culture. I see this stage 1.
Yeah, but where do I find you in the back of in the data?
That is very interesting. So I'm not showing up currently as a user. Okay, let's see what's going on here. I'm going to go ahead and the debugger mode on. I'm going to see what is working.
Yeah, you're here. You're here. Perfect. So that works. Yeah, actually, I have this. It's 3 a.m., 3:30 in the morning. So I just woke up. I'm usually quite of a morning person, that suits me well with these hours. But I just realized it was another question that I had. Should we move? It was here. I'm gonna meet with the client later today, so that's why I'm have been pushing it a little bit.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, so let's see. So let me check. Yeah. So this is quite handy when I'm trying to see where I am. So if I tried this one, I got the buttons to work. but now there's something with the graph.
Okay.
Let's see. So so search for enablers, but if I didn't group them, I got 1 bar per each, but I didn't get the grouping to work either. So I'm not sure what's right here. Should they be grouped or just
The way that you're trying to display it.
Yeah.
So I had, let me pull open the office hours here, the office hours sandbox that I'm working with. Because if I recall correctly, we had created the graph, the chart with buttons.
Yeah.
And what we should be doing is we should be putting a constraint on the data that we're trying to see. So it's only showing that team's enablers,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. So what we can do, instead of doing any kind of group by, we could just search for those enablers. So if you don't, go ahead and put your screen back on. We'll go ahead and work through this.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So we're just going to search for those enablers. And now the constraint that we're going to add there, though. Yep. Yeah. And we're going to probably want to do current users team.
Okay.
Okay, gotcha. And so go ahead and click on that search for enabler real quick. Or the type of data, you have it in grouping. Go ahead and switch the type of data to enabler. All right, perfect. Yep, and then current points value and then current points label. Cool. Let's go ahead and try that out.
Yeah, you say.
So it looks like we've clicked control. We probably have a bunch of test data that we've been using, correct? Do you want to go ahead and start over, just delete all of those and then
yeah, but yeah, we could should I reload it perhaps?
Let's do that.
So now I have 1 bar per each, but I think that perhaps we will get a new bar. But you're a part of Secure Team 1, right?
Yeah, if you'd like, I can take a look right now.
You can try to. It's this page, or you can use the arrow on the right side.
All right, so I'm here. I'm clicking. Yep, I see that we've created 2 creativities. We have. Yeah, yep, I do see that. Okay. And if we take away, so let's go ahead and take a look at that logic and see how we have that currently set up. Okay, so this is your backend. Let's go to that workflow. So when we create a button and then when we click a button. So the way that we're going to want this to work is when we create a button, of course, we want to add that value. And then when we deselect that button, we want to take away that value we just added. So click on set activity. Let's just go one by one by one. So we set, so when button current cells labels clicked, and this button is yes. Yeah, I guess we'd start with when the activity is no. Perfect. Okay, so set activity state, and then we create a new enabler. And we do this only when that enabler is count. That enabler should be set to current teams.
Well, this was probably. This should be perhaps. There was some kind of red issue there. Okay, could that be it perhaps?
Could be contributing to it.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and refresh as well on my end.
Control, creativity, and drive, the three things you need to build a bubble app, right?
I like that. So I just click control here. It doesn't seem as though control is updating. So let's go back to your back in there. Let's go take a look at that.
Did you save anything now?
Yeah, well, I clicked the buttons, but nothing works. So there must be something on the back end that's preventing us from doing that. So let's go ahead and look at the make changes to enabler. Because we have no problem creating them, but if we want to change them. So let's do only when. Let's go to that only when, see, do we have, yeah, that might be the reason here. So go ahead and refresh. I'm still running into that same issue here. So not a problem. Let's go back into our data. So yeah, let's click on that as well. Let's just make sure we've gotten rid of any of the red. And then also look at things to change, search for enablers first item. Do we have that there as well? If we hover over that, the things to change. So it's all the way at the top, the actual data that we're manipulating. Yep. So we do want to set the constraints here where the label equals, of course, the label, and that the current user's team, our current user's team equals. Yep.
Okay.
Sweet. Cool. And it looks like now it works.
Great.
The only thing that you need to focus now on is deleting. Yeah. So not a problem when we add or delete, but if I had to guess, we're still probably running into some red errors on the delete side of the house that we need to fix as well.
Yeah. Probably.
And we could even say, instead of searching for value, we could just do the current cells. I think, right? That would work.
Here. Yeah.
Oh, not the display. Yeah, so I suppose it wouldn't work the way that we'd want it to. So this enabler, let's say this enabler's value. And then -1. Yeah, perfect. So I'm going to refresh.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so now it goes from control from 5 to 4. I'm currently manipulating that value.
Yeah. Okay. So, Cool. So what were you playing with them?
On my end, like
Yeah,
what was
you were
I?
playing with, yeah, when I arrived, different things.
Yeah, so there's this application out there. It's pretty popular on Twitter. People have been playing it. It's called Wordle. You're given 6 rows, 5 columns each. Basically, you have to guess a 5-letter word, and through the process of elimination, you try to achieve that. And so I just tried to
So
replicate
it's
that.
kind of a word Sudoku, sort of.
Yeah, yeah, a little bit like that. Yeah. And so just working on some of the conditionals and some of the logic right now. I'm trying to get it to work. And we're really, really close. Really, really close.
Cool. So I'll let you. I'm super happy with this, and I let you to continue with it, trying that on.
Sure,
And
yeah.
I'll pop in later this week.
Sounds fantastic. I will be
Oh,
back. Next time I'm here is Friday, but you're going to be able
okay.
to get Sam and Tanya, I believe.
Yeah,
So, yeah, definitely. Very glad that we were able to get that working for you.
great.
Thanks so much for being so awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, rock on.
Rock on.
All right. Go ahead and share my screen again. So what I was experiencing, go ahead and delete. Word submissions is down here. So let's delete this guy. So I'm thinking that we could reduce this logic to, we only create it when we don't. So we want this, I'm just checking right now when it's solved. So we say that we're going to make this solved when search for word submission count is 1, which means the attempt is 5, submitted is yes. So it looks for the 5th submission. And the parent group word submission. So the value is not the word of the hour, first item's word. So in theory, if we do okay, so it did create a word submission. Create word submission for user. This is what it's checking. It's not really wanting to do, okay, so do we have anything actually conflicting with this? We're not creating any here. We're not using a button enter, so we can actually delete that. Here's our enter button that we use. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to create a word for a user every single time that we run into where the only or where the word submission count is less than or equal to 5, where the date is the day and the hour is the hour and the user is the user, and where the search for word. Again, using these constraints, user, dates this, hours this, and solved isn't empty is 0. So if we have less than or equal to 5 submissions, and none of which are solved, create a new one. It's only picking up 2. Whoa. I don't like that at all. So what we can do is on page load, what we can do, I'm thinking that we actually add this back here. So we're actually going to add. So we'll just I'll paste this right here. Oh, no, that's not it. We're going to create this. Create new word submission. And it was with these conditions. We want to say, let's create a new word, right? So now we want this to only work. We only want this to run once. Well, we could say every time, because we're going to set a pretty strict condition. And so when the word submission count is less than, let's say, is 0. So we look at a word where it contains this day and this hour, we want to create it. In any other instance, when we create a word submission, we just want to make sure that the word submission count is less than 5 and that it hasn't been solved, where solved equals 0. Okay, so go ahead and restart our journey here. Cool, it created for us. Let's go ahead and do it again. Will we actually get that workflow? Will it run? Doesn't look like it. So we do tests. And it creates a new one. We'll do tests again. Cool. And we're going to continuously do tests here. We're going to run out the amount of given spaces that we have, and it's just easiest to do this. So, oh, what happened there? That is not good. Okay, so it looks like it did work for us. We weren't able to create any more submissions, especially after we ran out the clock at 5. Cool. We're going to try this again. Just delete. Cool. We solved the issue. Doesn't look like we're actually getting any others now. It just looks like we're only creating the one that we need. There is the weird bug that we have been getting, though, where it looks like the keyboard doesn't work the way we want it to work. When we enter a button, we click a button, it should load into a plugin or through the actual input field into a plugin into the repeating group. I'm using live text as the plugin. And the reason being is because if we don't use live text, then this doesn't update automatically, and it really breaks the actual experience the user is going to, well, experience. So we're using live text. Now, S, T, and S were the culprits that we ran into. S, T, and S. So we just make sure that T, so we're taking live values T, yeah, okay. That's what we're adding. We'll take a look at live text here. This is the element ID that we're influencing or affecting. We have this associated with, it's called input field. I have it hidden here. Input field is the ID that we're given it. So what we're doing when we're clicking a button, we're saying, hey, we want to display data and input. The input, and this is a live text plugin. The input field or the input ID is input field. That's what we've set for the input field. And then the text that we're adding is the value of live text A. So anything else that we've done, value, append T. Now, I wonder, so if we do T, and okay, so I'm wondering if we go ahead and say input value append T. We're going to do this with the word test. TE, so on E, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to get away from the live text. We're just going to put the input field. And then S, where is S hiding? Very last one. Okay. That should be all we need to change for this word. Cool. So we will do tests. So it still looks like it's loading here. We're going to do it again because this is hopefully how we can replicate it, doing what we had done. So now it's thinking about what it wants to do. It's a bit laggy. Okay. So I think the solution for all of these, starting with B, we're just going to go through and change them all. Then hopefully this will be the solution to our very weird problem where when we put letters in, sometimes it doesn't seem like the plugin was able to quickly pick up on what we were doing. Now, if we put it directly into the input field, live text should be able to pick that up. So no longer is it being funneled through the input or the live text to the input field that is being inversed in that case. Okay, there we go. So go ahead and created one attempt. All right, and so let's just test this out. QWERT. Well, it still seems like that may have actually happened again, despite the fact that we're putting in what we're putting in with the word suspicion. As if there was a delay. TX. Okay, let's try that out again. So ZX should load for us. That was the value of the word submission. DX is still the value of the word submission. And now the hour has changed, and that might be why we ran into that issue, because the hour has changed, which could make it a little difficult. So I think what we need to do now is actually include states to show certain data. I think states would probably be pretty useful. So X, C doesn't do anything, V does, B, N. No, C does something. And it may absolutely be because a lot of crazy workflows. I don't think I have anything back here. No, nothing back there. I'm just looking at metrics here. Really, we're doing nothing. to this application. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Let's go ahead and change the L key to actually do what it needs to do, because right now it ain't doing what it needs to do. L key is right here, and that's why that's at least being weird. Okay. So it shows. Oh, okay. It's as if it takes a couple moments for it to load, and this very well could be because of the capacity that I am on. We switch this capacity, we're boosting it. Let's see, do we run into the same issues? So and I'm really not trying to solve it right now. I'm just trying to go ahead and get this to work. So it does seem like capacity is affecting it for sure. That way, when this happens, we'll actually be able to have data, because it only currently works, it looks like, when someone passes it. So if we go ahead, we'll refresh it. It'll bring us back here. If we go ahead and go to the stats page for this guy, and we say hour 0. I think this is because it's actually looking for played. What are the hours? Milch. Interesting. Oh, well, it's because we also need to add a guy here. There we go. Okay. There are a couple different things that need to be adjusted, but at the very least, we got some of the major bugs taken care of here. So very, very grateful for that. Amazing. Thank you all for tuning into Office Hours. If you're watching at home, this was a pleasure. We're going to go ahead and move to after Office Hours, more private sessions here. So some users don't showcase their apps for everybody to see. We're dealing with maybe some more private or sensitive information. So we invite our office hour members to partake in our after office hours. With that said, until next time, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you later.